Hey everybody, welcome back to Highway Blossoms. Last time it finally happened. Amber and Marina finally kissed and it was beautiful. But now they're dealing with the aftermath of that and the tension that has come once again now that they have more or less admitted their feelings towards one another to some degree. There are still the details that need to be hammered out. But I'd say we're about 3/4 into the story right now. It feels like that was probably the second pinch point. And now we're headed to the music festival. Though I'm sure some shenanigans will be ensued on the way there. I mean, where's Mariah and her ragtag team of treasure hunters? That's still something that needs to be sort of tied up, I think. So I'm sure we'll run into them at some point or another before this closes. But anyways, only one way to find out. Sleeping on it is supposed to help you with the tough decisions or with big changes, but that's hard when you can't pass out in the first place. Thoughts of Marina and of Gramps and of things changing and of things staying the same all breathed together to keep me awake just like the coffee is right now. When I got up this morning, the first thing I felt was surprise that I'd managed to fall asleep at all. The 3 hours I got must have snuck up on me. I drained another cup of coffee, number 4, and the last one from this pot. I dump another few scoops of grounds into the coffee maker and start a new batch. I got to see the sunrise, which even I usually sleep through. Out here in the middle of nowhere, with no light pollution, the sky was vivid. Shards of jagged pink tearing into the blue. I nearly dozed off again just watching. Maybe someday I'll get to watch it with Marina. Someday, when I wake up early again, and if she manages to get her lazy ass out of bed. Lazy but cute. Yesterday's events replay in my mind for the umpteenth time, and with them come the swirl of emotions that feel like a stomachache and a high, both at once. Things finally starting to feel normal between us again. Kissing Marina at the Valley of Fire. Her leaning into it. Wondering if I should stop. Her not letting me. Sitting close on the couch, not asking any questions. Not answering them either. Wondering if I should. It's too early for this shit. The familiar ping of the coffee maker tells me that I've been zoned out for a few minutes now. Smashing my fists into my eyes, I try to rub the sleepiness out. Movement from the back of the RV means that I must have woken Marina up. I can hear the sound of her bed creaking and of the covers being thrown back. I feel a strange, nervous elation as she appears in the hallway, looking bedraggled. Bedraggled? Is that a word? I've never even heard of that before. Someone tell me. Good morning. She groans like a zombie and stumbles towards me. Want some coffee? A stiff head nod. Smiling, I prepare her a cup. It's only half coffee. The other half is a boatload of sugar and the creamer that neither Gramps nor I ever drank. I don't even know why we had it, but it's not expired. When she reaches me, Marina leans into me. Sort of falls, really, crashing against my shoulder. Hey, careful. A bit of coffee sloshes out of the mug and onto my hand, but I don't mind. She takes the drink and a couple small sips. Minor bliss replaces her glazed expression. Good? Good. There's hardly any coffee in it, you know. Just the way I like it. That's true. Have we ever seen Marina drink coffee? I never thought she was a fan of it. Though maybe it's just that she's not a fan of black coffee, as Amber prefers. I wonder if she had a hard time falling asleep like I did, but I'm hesitant to ask. Afraid she'd say no. Afraid she'd say yes. So I just sit down and she takes the spot next to me. We both quietly sip our coffee as she rejoins the land of the living. Once she finishes her first cup, she's alert enough for a conversation. Sleep okay? I figure that's safer than flat out asking. Yeah, kinda. Kinda? She trails off. Maybe I gave her alertness too much credit. I forgot what I was just saying. I laugh and stand up. Don't worry about it. Marina mumbles something incoherent. What was that? She clears her throat. Sorry, I asked if you slept all right. Took me a while to fall asleep, but after that, yeah. It's not strictly a lie. Eyes half closed, Marina smiles thinly. Good. I turn around so that she doesn't see how preoccupied I am, or guess what's on my mind. Whatever it is that I'm dealing with, it's not her problem. I don't want her to worry about me. The floor creaks as Marina stands up too, but I don't face her. So where are we going today? No idea. We have a few days before the show. Anything you want to see? Whatever it is, I'll make the trip. We're not very far from Las Vegas, right? Not at all. It's just a couple of hours. Let's go there. Finally, I meet her eyes again. The smile on her face is pure and earnest. I can't help but return it. Sure, that sounds like fun. And she hugs me. Her warm figure is pressed close against mine. She smells like my shampoo. I wrap my arms around her and hold her close. Just for a second, everything feels right, like it's all gonna work out. And I realize how badly I want it to. I squeeze tight and then pull away. What was that for? Just felt like it. Worry caresses her face. Should I not? Nah, you definitely should. Go get dressed and I'll get us on the road. You cool with waiting to eat until we get there? Yeah. Cool. There are a million buffets and exotic restaurants there, so we can find something good. I like Las Vegas already. Dork. I gently push her towards the back to get ready. She sticks her tongue out over her shoulder as she goes. No, seriously, just gamble all your treasure away. If casinos even take gold nuggets, which they probably would. Watching, I rub my temple before climbing into the front seat. I'm looking forward to this, and I know Marina is too. So why does it feel like I'm doing something wrong? Oh no. Why does it feel like you're doing something wrong, Amber? Ugh, I don't even want to know. For a long moment, I just press my forehead against the steering wheel, not thinking much of anything. The sound of Marina's approaching footsteps make me sit up, and I put on a smile as she hops into her spot. Ready? Yep. Here we go then. And we head out towards the highway. Las Vegas appears on the horizon far before we actually reach it. Clusters of generic skyscrapers are interspersed with the world-famous casinos, which come in many shapes and sizes. Some are indistinguishable from all the tall banks and offices around them, except for gaudy logos and signs. Like the Trump Tower sticks out like a sore thumb on the strip in Vegas. You see all this cool architecture, and then, yeah, Trump Tower. And then, yeah, some of the banks, too. It's crazy. Totally takes away from the feel of Vegas. Others are constructed to look like a pyramid or a Roman palace or a medieval castle. There's a distinct clash where some buildings are striking and clean-looking, as if they'd just been completed yesterday. But then just beside them will be a sad-looking place with faded paint and signs that aren't supposed to be flickering. As we enter the city limits, we're suddenly surrounded by the noise of traffic and the smell of exhaust. Exiting the highway was like crossing the boundary to another world. Marina drinks it all in. Ooh, what's that one? The super tall one. She points to the windshield, even though it's impossible to follow her finger. I know which one she's talking about. That's the Stratosphere. I think it's one of the tallest buildings in the country. And has the, at least last time I checked, back in 2000, it's probably 2011, it was the highest controlled free fall jump, I think is how you describe it. But on the Stratosphere, you can like jump off of it safely, clearly, with support, and it's something that the Stratosphere offers. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of the tallest buildings, because it is definitely, or at least it used to be, one of the tallest free falling jumps that you could make in the country from the top of that building. Whoa. We're still miles out, but she already seems to be infatuated with the city. Her eyes are wide, and so is her mouth. It's even cooler up close. I never knew cities could be this huge. I keep forgetting that she's never been out of New Mexico. Sure, there are a couple decently sized cities there, but nothing this impressive. I'm excited for her to experience all this for the first time. Honestly, Las Vegas is kind of on the small side, at least compared to places like New York or Chicago. Seriously? That's insane. I can't imagine that many people in one place. What about your house? She giggles. That's pretty close. She reminds me of a puppy straining against its leash as she whips between looking out the windshield and out the passenger side window. To me, the part of the city that we're in looks like any other downtown area, so I'm not impressed. Once we get to the Strip, where all the really famous casinos are located, it'll be different. But first, I have another destination in mind. So, Mare. Yeah? Ever heard of the World Carnival Buffet at the Rio? I don't think so. Should I? Well, if you like food, it's pretty much the greatest place on earth. They have, like, everything imaginable to eat, and lots of stuff that you can't imagine either. Somehow, her eyes get even wider. I want to try it all. Pretty sure you'll change your mind when you see some of it, but that's the spirit. Are we going there now? Hell yeah, we are. I'm starving. Me too. And she grabs my free hand, the one that isn't on the steering wheel. My heart leaps to my throat. Since we're at a red light, I catch her eye and she smiles, though her face is a little red. I smile back, but then face forward. Our hands hang limply between our seats. It isn't long before our palms are moist with sweat. I don't know whose. Her hand is so soft, like she treats it with lotion or something, but I know that's not the case. Smooth, like a baby's. It makes me a little self-conscious of my chewed fingernails and chronically dry skin. Worried that I'm gonna gross her out and she'll pull away or something. Is this okay? Huh? Maybe I was getting a little too distracted. Is what? She raises our linked hands. This. You just seem kinda... I cannot if you... No, it's fine, seriously. I'm talking louder than I need to, flustered as I try to backpedal. She doesn't look convinced. Okay, sorry, I'm still, not really... It's fine, you're fine, really. I'm the one who should be sorry. I'm not usually this weird in a relationship. Now she looks almost offended. Crap. Not like that, I just mean... A blaring honk from behind me reminds me that I'm sitting stopped at a green light. The middle of traffic isn't the best place for this conversation. Breathing deeply as we pull ahead, I try to collect my thoughts. Sorry, again, I just have a lot on my mind. Because I like you, I really do. You know that really frickin' well by now. She smiles, though she's still looking down, and our hands are still together. And this is such an awkward time and place to be talking about this. So it's my bad if I'm being weird or whatever. But being with a girl I met on the side of the road is a new one, even for me, you know? Finally, she laughs. Yeah, I guess it is a little weird. I feel like I can still hear a slight quiver in her voice, but I might be imagining it. So I squeeze her hand tightly. Immediately, she squeezes back. I only have a vague idea of the direction I need to be driving. Fortunately, it isn't too long until the Rio comes into view, looming large a few miles away. We pull into the parking lot near the back where the only open spaces are left. It's pleasantly warm outside. I've heard stories of people's shoes melting on asphalt during the summer, but for now the weather's perfect. As we cross through the parking lot towards the casino, Marina takes my hand yet again. I can feel my heart rate accelerate, but I squeeze her fingers all the same. The first few steps inside are sensory overload. Overload. Not overlord. That would be a sensory overlord. A million different sounds and a billion different lights all pour from the sea of slot machines. Even at lunchtime on a Thursday, the majority are occupied. We both take a second frozen in place to try and process it all. This isn't even my first time in a casino, but I'm overwhelmed just like Marina is. I can see the reflections of a game in her eyes, like a cartoon character thinking of money. Whoa. Yeah, whoa. Is this one of the most popular casinos? Not even close. Like, it's big, but it's not the biggest. Whoa. I tug her forward. Come on, we'll have tons of time to gawk with food in our stomachs. The mention of food steadies her steps. Giant overhead signs direct the way to the buffet. They must be visible from any part of the building. If this place is famous for something besides the food, I don't know what it is. To be fair, I've never even heard of that buffet, and I don't hear people talk about the Rio that much. So definitely probably more famous casinos around. And it's probably only famous for the buffet if that's an actual thing. We can smell it before we can see it. And despite the stench of cigarettes and BO that are pretty strong here, it doesn't smell like any other particular food item, but rather lots and lots of them. Guided by our stomachs, we half run towards the buffet. The line to get in is small since we got here so early. Marina hops up and down trying to peek over the head of the bald guy in front of us. Can you see anything? Barely. It looks like it goes on forever. Good. I practically throw my card at the attendant. It reminds me of paying to enter an amusement park, and I'm just as excited. We're let through a small gate and into heaven. Yeah, I don't know. Las Vegas buffets generally aren't that good. This one might have everything under the sun, but quality probably isn't great. But that's only my limited experience, I guess. Can't say I've been to many buffets in Las Vegas, just a few. Rows upon rows of stations form a small maze in the massive room. Deep bins full of food, fried or grilled or baked or roasted, fill nearly every inch of space in each station. Marina and I grab plates from the tall stacks nearby. Meet you in the dining room? She nods, already distracted, and heads straight for the desserts. I load my plate with a slice of prime rib, 2 rolls, and a scoop of mashed potatoes. I pour gravy over them, letting it run down and soak into everything else. For good measure, I also throw a pair of chicken wings from a nearby basket. They're so fresh that I can see the steam coming off of them. I'm gonna need a second plate. I grab one off another pile and toss a small piece of salmon, some pot stickers from the Asian section, and a large spoonful of some sort of casserole. I can't even guess what it is, but it looks good. Everything looks good. Solely because I can't fit more food on my plate, I head to the dining area and pick a seat where Marina will be able to find me easily. Sure enough, she emerges just a minute later, carrying 2 plates like I did. Wow, you weren't kidding about trying everything. Instead of big portions of a few things like I got, Marina has 1 or 2 bites of a couple dozen dishes. Roughly half of them are cakes or other sweets. When in Rome, you know. I slice off a bite of steak and close my eyes in ecstasy while I chew. It's divine. Holy cow. Barely balancing her plates as she slides into the seat beside me, Marina bumps against my shoulder as she gets situated, and I almost send a forkful of potatoes into her lap. Whoops, my bad. In retaliation, I spear a bite of chicken from her plate, swimming in some Asian sauce. No fair. It's double fair. That doesn't even make sense. After that, she finally gets to take her first bite, and she melts. Just like me, her eyes roll back into her head while she chews. I don't even remember what this is, but it's amazing. She scoops up another forkful of what looks like some kind of barbecue brisket and holds it towards me. Try it. I open my mouth and she guides the fork in. I pull back to chew. It's got a nice smoky flavor. That is good. Right? I almost want to go get a whole plate of just that. Then she tries the baked chicken that she has next to it. Wait, never mind. This is even better. There's a distinct lack of vegetables on both of her plates, but she seems to enjoy everything she's got. Every bite results in some statement about how it's the best thing so far. Did you get any of this? I gesture towards the slice of steak that I've almost finished. Okay, open up. She dutifully opens her mouth while I cut a bite for her. It's the best part, right near the edge where all the flavor is. It's a little awkward to be feeding her like this, but no one pays us any attention. When she swallows, she sits still. Very slowly, she opens her eyes again. That was literally the best thing I've ever eaten. You've said that like 20 times so far. I mean it this time. That was illegally good. Now that doesn't make any sense. It makes double sense. We laugh. Gramps always used to say that the best place to get a steak was at buffets like this. Not because they're always better, but because you can just go up and get slice after slice. Although he's the only person who I've met who could eat more than one. Marina chuckles with me, but it's nervous sounding. I used to tease him for it. No one should be able to eat that much meat. He would always complain about him being too done. He cooked his own steaks to be kind of medium rare. Closer to rare. Gross. Don't tell me you eat yours well done. Amber, she doesn't like her marshmallows burnt, and so she probably likes her steak well done. I'm just saying. I feel like those things go hand in hand. Or she's either never had a steak before until this moment, which would be weird, but for Marina, anything's possible. That's a deal breaker. That would be a deal breaker, wouldn't it? Marina, I don't know if we could still be together. She looks pained. I'm just kidding, you know. Yeah, I know. But it doesn't sound like it. I shut up. It's probably not a good idea to talk about Gramps too much either. Our plates are almost empty, and I look back at the serving area dubiously. Round 2? She thinks about it, then shakes her head. I think I'd explode if I ate much more. Yeah, same. There's a soft flutter against my cheek as Marina leans over and kisses it. Thank you for bringing me. Yeah, no problem. I intently examine the hard plastic bench I'm sitting on. 2 long passes before I talk again. So are you ready to go? Oh, sure. I can tell how on edge she is again. Good going, Amber. Nice. I launch to my feet. Just leave the dishes on the table. Someone will come by and clean them up. I have no idea if that's true. I start to leave, expecting Marina to follow me. Amber! But I turn around. She's still in the process of getting up. Wait for me. First she has to brush her face with a napkin, and then she drains the glass of orange juice she was drinking. Then she scoots out of the booth and hurries towards me. Are you all right? Yeah, sorry. Just felt kind of nauseous for a second. Probably ate too much. Oh, I doubt she's buying it. From the corner of my eye, I see her reach toward my hand. Then she seems to think better of it and lets her fall back to her side. I grab it myself as I lead the way out of the casino. So this is interesting because I kind of want to know what the point of this detour to Las Vegas is. Because right now, this is like a good example of sagging in a story where the stakes aren't quite emphasized as being high or important, and I don't know, I hope it, I mean, they're kind of pushing, the writers are kind of pushing the story along with this tension that's come up between Amber and Marina again, but it's not really being emphasized enough to make it feel important. And I don't know, I assume something important will come up at some point during this trip to Las Vegas, but right now it just feels like sag, and I don't want to say filler. Filler's like a bad word, but it's a bad word to describe this, but it's like I want to know, Amber needs to be more clear about what is exactly going on, because something is bothering her more than it's bothering Marina. I feel like that is clear. Marina's been the one initiating everything, and Amber's being more reserved, and we can assume it has something to do with her grandfather and possibly her family too, but there hasn't been enough like clues about it to really feel it fully. So hopefully we'll get another step towards that, to figuring out what that is in this trip to Las Vegas, because other than that, it just feels kind of useless, and this feels like fluff, and not fun fluff either, just weird fluff, unnecessary fluff. Weird fluff doesn't make sense. Unnecessary fluff. Outside, I take Marina's hand, but it feels limp inside my own. I let her lead the way down the street and towards the busiest part of the city. Sometimes stuff on the side catches her eye. Brightly colored sports cars that probably belong to millionaires pass by us pretty frequently. There's also people in bike-drawn carriages and double-decker tour buses. Besides the people, the buildings themselves all compete to stand out. Almost every storefront has something neon flashing to get you to look at it. Toy stores, restaurants, sex shops, and more all vie for real estate. Within a 2-block radius, you could probably buy everything you ever wanted. Maybe a half a mile ahead of us on the other side of the road, there are a few street vendors on the sidewalk. They have a winning setup and shade themselves and their merchandise, though it's too far away to see what they're selling. Marina spots them and points. Ooh, let's go get a look. But then her excitement vanishes. I mean, if you want to? Yeah, let's check it out. With a hopeful smile, Marina starts to run. A red light at the crosswalk makes her stop, not too far ahead though. I catch up just in time for the light to change. Before she can dart away, I take Marina's hand. She doesn't object, but searches my face. So I smile, and she smiles back. I let her pull me to the vendor, who seems to be selling a little bit of everything. T-shirts cover most of the wire rack that serves as a wall. There are also bins of buttons, keychains, and other small trinkets. One bin is full of a tiny soapstone animal carvings, and those are what Marina goes for. I ignore the vendor at his Weasley small talk, refusing to be conned into buying tons of junk. After a minute, Marina selects a little stone coyote. I pay $5 for it, practically robbery. We start down the road again with Marina inspecting her new treasure. Why a coyote? Oh, Amber, you're in the Southwest. Well, yeah, I mean, Nevada is kind of Southwest. Not really, but anyways, coyotes are super, super prominent figures. And they are super cute, as Marina says. I saw a coyote this week at work. It was sweet. Anyways, I thought she was the cutest. Look at the way the color changes here. She holds the little trinket up by my nose. There's a spot where the color changes from brown to a milky white on one side of its face. That is pretty. Plus, wolves are pretty much my favorite animal, and coyotes are close enough. Yeah? Have you ever seen a live wolf? No, I wish. You? At Yellowstone a couple of years ago, yeah. I begged Gramps to take me. As soon as I mentioned Gramps' name, I see Marina's eyes flit towards mine. What else do they have there? All kinds of stuff. Wolves, bears, buffalo, elk, deer, pretty much any kind of forest animal. And they just wander around, right? Yeah, there are even places where you can feed some of them out of your car. Is that true? Because that sounds... I feel like a park would not condone that behavior. Most parks do not let you feed the wildlife out of your car. People do it anyways, but you probably shouldn't. Especially if you're feeding like wolves and stuff. Even elk. Elk are crazy. They will run you off the road, man. What about the meat eaters like wolves and stuff? And there are spots where you can see them, but you can't feed them. They're still wild animals. It's not a zoo or anything. And again, this is great like cultural commentary, because the amount of people I've met who go to national parks and think that all the animals are not wild, not domesticated, not trained is astounding. And people will go to national parks and they think because they're in a park, or I'm not really sure the thought process behind it, but I feel like it's this idea of, oh, I'm in a park, the bear isn't going to hurt me, and then they go approach the bear and get mauled. And that usually seems to be the excuse of people not realizing that animals, even within the bounds of national parks, are still wild. And you shouldn't feed them. Even, like, elk and deer, do not feed them. Not even the squirrels. Like, don't feed them. And, yeah. Just be safe. And it's kind of funny that Marina is, you know, God bless her soul. She's only 18. But this reminds me of the conversation Amber has with that woman back at Canyon de Chelly, who was unaware of the fact that Native Americans are still alive. And this kind of reminds me of that same conversation, because Marina is now being a voice for something very similar, of people who just are naive about that kind of stuff. And about, you know, oh, wild animals. Well, they are wild and they are dangerous, and you need to be careful when you see them and not feed them, especially the ones that are aggressive and the meat eaters. But I don't know. Cool little commentary we have going on with this conversation. I always like that stuff. I want to go there someday. I'll take you to see them sometime. It's a cool place. Really? Yeah, sure. I try to play it off like it's not a big deal to me, but talking about future plans, anything that would happen after the festival, ignites that sense of uncertainty in my chest. The way her eyes light up when I promise to take her both soothes and agitates the feeling. No matter what, I'm happy that she's happy. I follow behind as she darts from stall to stall like a hummingbird. They all offer more of the same generic desert-themed trinkets or gaudy I Love Las Vegas merchandise. The sidewalks are full of these vendors who shout and try to get attention of the dozens of people who pass by. Marina's the only one who gets hooked in. But she doesn't ask for anything else. Maybe there just isn't enough wolf merchandise. Every time she dives in to examine someone's wares, I hang back with my hands in my pockets and watch. Once she's done, we hold hands again. It's a nice cycle. But all that changes once we reach the strip itself, with its electric architecture and eccentric population. I point out some of the more famous places like the Luxor, which is shaped like a pyramid, and Caesar's Palace, which looks like it was stolen from Rome. Marina oohs and ahs in all the right places, though to my surprise she doesn't try to lead us to them. Instead, she seems dead set on taking us further and further down the row of the sidewalk salesman, like she's looking for something in particular. Not that I have any idea what that is. She leads the way, looking from side to side, but never seeming quite to find it. Until suddenly, she freezes in place. A large wave of pedestrian traffic behind us crests and spills around like we're not even there. Marina points ahead to one of the street vendors a few blocks ahead. Found one! I'm yanked forward once again, being dragged by her newfound enthusiasm. Rather than a bunch of cheaply made goods, the merchants she's noticed had a bunch of colored drawings of cartoon characters, barely recognizable due to their exaggerated style. Oh, did she find a caricature artist? I'm just saying, caricatures, that's a classic souvenir gift when you're in the city of sin. A sign behind them advertises custom commissions, $30 each. I immediately understand what it is Marina wants. No. I try to drag my heels, but I'm tugged along by Marina. She's surprisingly strong when she wants to be. Amber! She says my name without even turning around. This has been my bucket list for years. It's happening. What has? Getting ripped off by a street artist? Having someone draw me? Oh, it's a great dream on the bucket list. Too bad Amber's not an artist herself. She could draw you. My protest being ignored, I fall in step and accept my fate. The guy manning the booth looks like he's completely out of place. He's wearing a flashy Hawaiian shirt and a baseball cap. When he notices Marina and I approaching, he sits up from his slouching position and grins. Hello, ladies. Hi there. We were interested in having our portrait drawn. We weren't. You were. But I don't protest. I've resigned myself to going along with whatever she wanted. Perfect. He frames us with his fingers like he's going to take a picture. You girls stand right there and get comfy. I'll get ready. He lurches off his wooden chair and grabs a sketch pad and a box of pencils. We'll do you two in color. How's that sound? Great. I just grimace. I'm not fond of having my picture taken, and this isn't much better. I just never feel satisfied with how I look. That's why there aren't many pictures of Gramps and me. Just a couple. I'll deal with it for Marina's sake. We stand under an awning. I think I mispronounced that last time I said it. It's awning. Duh. Though its shade does little to help the heat. Marina shifts from foot to foot while I just wait with my hands in my pockets. Every so often she turns to beam at me, though she doesn't say anything. Geez, not sure why she's so hyped up, but it's cute. The guy finally gets his stuff ready, all set up an easel. The piece of paper he's using is almost the size of my torso. Go ahead and scrunch together now. He makes a motion with his hands. Marina stands near me, and I wrap one arm around her. Closer. Our shoulders are touching. Closer. Now we're cheek to cheek. Perfect. And he stares at us with a smile for just a second longer than is comfortable. It makes his expression seem more than a little sleazy. Before I can change my mind, he looks down at the paper and starts to draw. We stand there, not talking or moving at all. Once Marina starts to ask something, but he waves his hand without even looking up. Quiet, if you move, you'll mess it all up. So she shuts up. I can feel her jaw snap shut since it's smushed against my own. 15 minutes pass. My mouth is starting to get sore. I didn't have any guesses how long this would take, but it's starting to get annoying. Even Marina seems to be having second thoughts. She wiggles, just barely, probably to fight the growing tension in her muscles. Not enough to ruin the drawing, though. From the corner of my eye, I noticed a couple of the glances that we get. We probably don't look especially out of place, but more like hapless tourists who got conned into something. I guess we are, to an extent. I wouldn't mind, except that we also look ridiculous being stuck together like nearly Siamese twins. Our artist draws with long, swift strokes, though I can't see what he's doing. He appears confident. Hopefully the result is worth the discomfort. And the $30. I'm nearly at my breaking point when he finally leans back and sets his pencils aside. Done! Marina peels away from me instantly, leaving a damp spot of her shared sweat on my face. I rub at it as I follow her more slowly to see the results. As she cranes around the easel to look, I watch her expression go from excited to overjoyed. Her smile widens into a grin as she grasps the drawing in her hand. Amber, look, it's us! Well, of course it's you. She flips it up around so I can see. It's us. The first thing I notice is my boobs. They're a lot larger than in real life. Same with Marina's. Kinda. Well, caricatures, what are you gonna do? I mean, I assume that's what this is supposed to be, or like caricature portraits. So, those features will be exaggerated. Also, especially when it's drawn by some creepy pervert or sleazy artist. I shouldn't call the guy a pervert, I don't know that. But a sleazy artist, Other than that, the drawing is cartoony. We're recognizable, but our features are exaggerated. Marina's eyes are almost comically huge. In contrast, the building behind us in the drawing are sharply defined and realistic. Clutching the paper to her chest, Marina sighs a contented smile. Thank you so much. The artist wipes his sweaty palm. Oh, I can speak well today. I promise I can. The artist wipes his sweaty palms on his shorts as he stands. My pleasure, my pleasure. And he looks at me expectantly. With a sigh, I pull out my wallet and pass him a pair of wrinkled bills. I pass it to him with a nod. Y'all have a lovely day now. With that, he slouches down again and pulls out a cheap-looking paperback novel. The drawing is still close to Marina's chest like a priceless artifact. Every few seconds, she holds it away from her and grins as she looks at it. That makes it worth the cost. Finally, Marina rolls up the drawing like a scroll and tucks it under her arm for safekeeping. We stand in the shade of the awning while we look up and down the road. We should split up for a little bit. What? I can't help but yelp. That was the last thing I was expecting. Yeah, that is... What? We're going to find out next time. I've already gone over on this episode because I wanted to get through the drawing. So next time we'll find out why Marina wants to split up and what's going on. And here we go. This is the plot that the plot. That's not the right way to use that word. This is hopefully the progress we're going to get from them visiting Las Vegas and having this not be like a totally useless trip from a storytelling perspective. Anyways, that'll be next time. So, thanks for watching and listening, and take care.